Mark Reed.
I came relaxed tonight. John stood me up with a suit and tie, but you know, I've been a lifelong resident of the San Fernando Valley, and I've been riding horses since I was 2 years old, so I came directly from my ranch. And this is how I dress normally. Most of you know me because I ran in 2010, I ran in 2012. But because I've only been given short spurts to be able to talk, you really don't know my exact resume. I was born in Sun Valley. I grew up there until I was 16 years old. My parents moved out to West Hills. I graduated from El Camino Real High School, graduated from there, and went to Pierce College. I was going to join the military like my family. My family was all Navy. My father was a lieutenant commander. But because it wouldn't take me and allow me to fly airplanes because I had a little equilibrium problem because of my ear, I decided to join a different institution. I got married. I met my wife when I was 11 years old. I gave her a promise ring at 16 years old because I knew she was the one. When I saw her at 11 years old at school, I thought I saw an angel. So I gave her the promise ring, locked the deal down, married her at 21 years old. We had our first child at 22. So I have 3 adult children now and 9 grandchildren. I was in business management ever since I was 16 years old, believe it or not. I lied my age to start working for Jack in the Box at 14. Told Jeff Turner I was 16 years old. Within 2 years, he decided to make me the night manager. And he was telling me that I was going to be the youngest night manager that Jack in the Box ever had. And he had no idea. Because he thought I was 18 and I was turning 16. I wasn't even legal to be able to work the night shift. But I was very ambitious and I had a drive, at that age. So I became the night manager at 16 years old. 2 years after that, I became the assistant district manager. From there, I went to work for Big Page over at Canoga Redwood. How many of you remember Canoga Redwood on Sherman Way and Canoga Avenue? Nobody remembers that one? That was a famous place. Right next to Bob's Big Boy there. But I helped manage that company, and then I went to work for the phone company and became a business rep for them as well. I decided to get out of the corporate field and go to work for an uncle of mine with a plumbing company, and within 3 years after that, I bought his company from him. He wanted to retire. I opened up a retail store just after that, saved more pools right there in Reseda. I kept both of those until I was about 32 years old, sold those and bought another company, of which I still have. I've developed properties in the valley. I've built houses and sold them on spec. I also became the national rep for American Indians. So I've dealt with government relations for the last 15 years. I've testified on 5 different occasions in front of the FCC on vertical integration and consolidation. I've been on the board of directors of the Screen Actors Guild. I was actually the first board freshman to be appointed by the Guild's president to be on the finance committee there. So 8 of us ran the Screen Actors Guild. Because of my work with the Guild and also with American Indians, KCET tracked me down and recruited me to be on their board of directors for 6 years. I successfully put on a huge event for them, one of their biggest events that they've ever had, and I just finished up that one as well. So I'm very familiar with committee work. As you all know, it's committee work working on the council here. And it's kind of the old joke you ask people, do you know what a camel is? And you always get the answer to that, it's a horse made by committee. However, who knows the answer to, do you know what an octopus is? That's a horse made by Congress. It's got its tentacles out everywhere and it just sucks everything up. But in my life here in the San Fernando Valley, I've seen a lot of change. Because I remember as a kid, my parents piling us all in. I come from a family of 11. My parents piled us all into a Mercury station wagon. We'd head out across the valley. It seemed like we were going to the boondocks because of all of the orchards that were here to go to Malibu. And I remember all of the contracts, military contracts with Raytheon, Rocketdyne, Teledyne, and so forth. And this community was a huge bustling manufacturing area. The aerospace industry, aviation, computers, the 4 car manufacturing plants, the 4 tire manufacturing plants over here. We built computers. Machine shops were here. It was a great community to work in. I've watched that change over the years. I just got done speaking at LA Valley College. A kid was there. He was working in a machine shop with the aerospace industry, and his company is being shipped off to Texas. We've got to stop this. The LA Times recently did an article stating that Los Angeles County, Santa Ana, and Long Beach were the #1 manufacturers in the country. So I did some research on that. When Brad Sherman took office in 1996, there was 1,100,000 jobs here in the San Fernando Valley, high-skilled, high-paying manufacturing jobs. And these were career-oriented companies that were here, because I laid them off. Right now, we have 500,000 manufacturing jobs, which includes, like Nestle's Hot Pockets. That was considered manufacturing. Those are really low-skilled, low-paying jobs that are here for 10 years and they're gone. We need to bring these companies back here. We need to look at what's happening on the national level with our economy, with corporate taxes and the tax codes. We need to flatten the tax out to 13%, get rid of all the loopholes, start competing in the global economy. We need to also bring things back locally here. I always talk about the water, because how many of you like your water and power bill? Raise your hand. I haven't been able to find one person who likes it yet, but I give you my water and power bill. Because out on a ranch, my water's quite high. Back in the days when Rocketdyne, Teledyne, and Boeing and so forth were here, they kind of poisoned the water based on all the testing they did up in the North Hills. So half of the wells here in the San Fernando Valley cannot be pumped out. Can't be used unless you put up a filtration system. Brad Sherman 4 years ago actually came out with a big announcement. He was bringing back $600 million to build the filtration systems because it's the federal government's responsibility. They poisoned it. He never brought it back. For whatever reason, he failed bringing it back. Now on the water bond that's coming up on the ballot on November 4th, there's a $7.5 billion bond with an $850 million clause for municipalities. DWP and the Antelope Valley are going to compete for that $850 million. They wanted to build the filtration systems here so they can start pumping the water out. However, that's only half of the problem. For every inch of rainwater we get up in the mountains and here in the valley, 1 billion gallons of water runs out the LA River nonstop. There's water running out the LA River right now, nonstop. We do not use the Chatsworth Dam, we don't use the Lower Van Norman Dam, we don't use the Hanson Dam, the percolation pits, nor do we create percolation pits over this Boulder Dam to utilize the retention of the water in our aquifer. And we can use algae and all kinds of other bio remedies to fix the problems with the aquifer here in the valley. We can clean it up within 10 years and actually become self-sustaining here as well. These are different things that need to be done. And on the statewide level, it's the same thing. The federal government can bring back a lot of money to start building the reservoirs and the dams that we need here in California. Because again, they did another report. In California, 63 trillion gallons of surface water runs off California every year. Every year. We just don't get the snow melt that we actually relied on for how many years? Decades now. Now we're not getting that, but we still get enough rainwater. If we can capture the rainwater, put it in the aquifers, if we can start up desalination plants, we can be self-sufficient easily. We don't need the Colorado River. We don't need certain things. But they don't do that. They're not looking ahead. They're reacting to the past. This is where the congressman can actually work better. I also look at what's happening with our school systems. Right? Everybody talks education. You hear every politician. You know, we gotta really look at the education system. Well, the paradigm's got to shift. 70% of our high school kids do not go on to college. But yet, how many high school kids graduate being able to join the workforce? Half of them can't even balance a checkbook. You know, how many of you, I still love McDonald's. I go in there, but if my meal is costing me $8.63, I'll give them a 10. I'll give them 3, 2 quarters, a dime, and 3 pennies, and they stand there and they look at it. They want to give you the change back and take the 10 and say, oh, the 10 will cover it. No, I just want a $5 bill back. You know, the thinking process. So we need to go back to about the 60s level of high schools where we give them a vocational training through trade schools. We create the partnerships with the businesses in the community to be able to envelope them in, 1099 them, have it as a complete tax write-off, so our kids can actually join the workforce. We need to really create that partnership once again. But it won't work unless we bring the jobs back here. We need to do that. It's a big joint effort all the way through. But those are some of the things that I really want to address, and one of the other things is, everybody knows that what's happening in the Middle East. You know, I do have opinions on that, and Howard Berman is supporting me because I have a very, that's kind of I like the geopolitical arena. When you have our government at this point refusing to look at ISIS as an Islamic extremist movement. Brad Sherman came out on a C-SPAN interview, denied it being an Islamic extremist movement. What do you call it? What else can you call it? He says that if we take out ISIL or ISIS, however they want to call themselves right now, if we take them out, a meaner player will take its place. How much meaner can you be if you decapitated 4 people on videotape, murdered another woman that you didn't videotape, and with a woman hostage you don't hear about, they killed her, they buried 500 women and children alive. They didn't kill them first, they just buried them, dug a hole and buried them. They took a 5-year-old kid, it's on videotape, they never released it, a 5-year-old kid and cut him in half with a sword. How mean can that be? How much meaner of a player is he? This administration failed to really recognize this terrorist group. Wrap it up. They failed to recognize it even though they were warned of ISIS's growth for the last 4 years. We need a Congress and a congressman who will put their district first, put their state first, and put their country first, and not their party. As I've always said, I was raised by lieutenant commanders. I was taught to pledge my allegiance to this great nation, not to a political party. And this is what we need now, because the business of the individual, the business of the districts, the business of the states, and the business of our country is not being done here. With that, you can go to my website, markreedforcongress.com. I think most of you know me already. So it's a very simple website to go to. I hope to have all of your support. I've gained the support of almost every elected official in the valley as well, whether it's a straight out endorsement or not, because Howard can't do an endorsement. I have Mike Antonovich, I have the Reagan family. Yeah, I have them all at this point, and now I need yours. You'd like a logo to represent you. Any time for questions?
No.
No? Okay, I will hang out and you can question.
Okay,
Thank you.
It's always tough to get a politician to talk, you know? You said some interesting things. Okay. We've got an attorney, city attorney, sitting in the back, Mr. Quiet.
Yeah.
Who probably does more for us on a day-to-day basis than what we think. So if you would.
Yeah, well, you know, I haven't been here for a while, but just before I came here tonight, if you don't know, I'm Bill Larson with the city attorney's office, and I was doing all the nuisance abatement before, and now because of all the problems we've had with group homes, I'm doing group home enforcement for the whole city, for the city attorney's office. And in this area right here, the one that in fact, I just got a bunch of emails tonight about is, we've talked here before about Children Are Our Future. They have a group home up here on Remit, and we just had an incident I'm aware of that they were throwing the kids coming out. This is for kids that are coming from broken homes and also some from probation camps. So they came out of the place and were throwing stuff in the latest incident. And now neighbors are up in arms over there. So they've actually sent a complaint off to the state. We've already met with the operator, but he doesn't just have that one home, where he's got like 10, 12 homes like that. So we've got 4 of them right now that we have open cases on. And the other one that was brought up here tonight, we'll deal with those as they come one by one. But the Children Are Our Future, looks like we're gonna have the state getting involved at this point. So if there's any other issues, just let me know. But you can always email me with the address of any of these places. You know, we have the parolees hanging out, so it's not just the youth ones. We have most of these are just kids, not kids, adults that are on parole. No one knows that they're even there, and then next thing you know, 15, 20, 25 guys. And when I just came from this evening before I came here, 25 guys in a house up here just off of Alabama Street. So, you know, it just keeps going on and on and on. we do close them, it takes a while, they have lawyers and they fight us, but, usually we'll get them closed down within 6 to 12 months, usually. So, if there's any questions, let me know, but other than that, that's it.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Bill, if you could maybe stick around, I know you've got kind of a busy schedule until, Danny makes his report with the police, just in case there's any
Okay, sure.
questions or what have you. Bill, we're also fortunate, Bill's local, he lives in, closer to San Diego Freeway, right, if I'm not mistaken?
That's correct.
Yeah, so, anyway, appreciate you being here tonight, thank you. Glenn Bailey, Glenn wanted to have about 5 minutes on discussing the, budget. City of Los Angeles, this is the big picture. Of the,
I've written down, so hopefully it won't take 5 minutes. So Glenn Bailey, for those of you that don't know me, I'm actually just want to give a quick update on what the neighborhood council budget advocates are up to. And the reason for that is that on August 16th, we had the citywide budget day. And at that event, there were over 200 neighborhood council budget representatives and other board members, stakeholders there. And their presidents said, if you want to represent Chatsworth, if no one else is there, you can go ahead and do it. So I don't know that I represent Chatsworth, but I am giving you a report on what happened. And I do want to put a plug in though, if we could get 2 budget reps for Chatsworth, that would be a great thing. You don't have to be a board member, it can be a stakeholder, and I'll touch on that a little bit later. But those budget reps that attend from each of the neighborhood councils elected, the 190 budget reps theoretically elected the 36 budget advocates, 3 from each region. I'm one of the 3 from this region, which is Region 2, the Northwest Valley. And the other 2 are Pamela Gentry from Northridge West and Deborah Perkins from North Hills West. So between the 3 of us, we're covering this region. So at Budget Day, we heard from the usual folks that every year, the city controller, the CAO, the head of the city council budget and finance committee, and Mayor Garcetti about their what they're working on, what the projections are, what they see as the challenges, which is about $150 million structural deficit projected that they are looking at, and this is for the next fiscal year, not this fiscal year, the next fiscal year. That's the charge to the budget advocates, is to represent neighborhood councils and the stakeholders as we try to make recommendations to the city council and to the mayor about how we recommend doing that. So the budget advocates have had several meetings since Budget Day. We've set a regular schedule this year, which is great, because in the past it was impossible to know when they met. And that's going to be the first Monday of every month at 7 p.m. and on the 3rd Saturday of every month, generally at 10 a.m., but sometimes has to be adjusted like this month. And they've set up committees, about 14 different committees covering all the city departments and issues that are budget related. And anyone is welcome to participate in those committees if you'd like, sit in on them, actually join. We do have some people who are not budget advocates participating in that. And we've wrapped up the outreach. I sent an email out last month with a quick update after Budget Day. I'll do that periodically. There also should be ones coming from the budget advocates themselves. The most recent one should have been you should have gotten about Regional Budget Day, which I'll talk about in just a minute. We also have social media established or more robust. So our Twitter is Budget Advocates, Facebook is City of Los Angeles Budget Advocates, and we have a website, a new website set up, which if I can find where I wrote it, I'll let you know what that is. If I don't, I'll include that in my next email. Yesterday, the budget advocates met with Mayor Garcetti to basically have a 1-on-30 dialogue, just to reaffirm his commitment, which is to have neighborhood councils be involved early in the process. That's why we moved up Budget Day from the fall, last year it was November, I think, moved up to August, so we get involved in the budget process earlier. Before the departments submit their budget requests, means we can help shape them. In the past, we'd have budget day in the fall, in October, November. Budget advocates would then, by the time they met with the city departments, they'd already submitted their budget requests to the mayor. And then by the time we really had an opportunity to give any input, the mayor's team was already working on their proposed budget to release to city council. So it really was not a lot of ideal timing as far as that influence. So hopefully this time earlier on, commitment from the mayor yesterday was that's exactly what he wants, but he's also asking neighbor councils, not just the 36 budget advocates representing the budget representatives which represent the neighbor councils, but the neighbor council boards, all 95 in the city, and all the stakeholders to really step up and make sure they're participating in the process as well. He wants numbers. He doesn't want just 36. He doesn't just want 95 of the neighbor councils. He doesn't just want the 1,700 neighbor council board members. He wants all that, but he wants more. So I'm bringing that message to you today that you're part of that process to make, that's what the mayor is asking for. And we think that, you know, that if we can come up with some recommendations, you individually, as individuals, neighbor councils, et cetera, that we can have an opportunity to influence that. So the first opportunity to do that is in regional budget day. 2 years ago, it was held in March, very late in the process. This year, it's going to be a week from Saturday on October 11th. There's going to be 5 of them throughout the city. The one for the Valley is going to be at the Browdy Constituent Center in Van Nuys. And it'll be from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. I know there's something going on every weekend, but hopefully some of you might find your 2-hour block there to get there. You don't have to take action as a neighbor council, but if you have any actions you've taken over the past year that are budget related, and you want to forward those to the mayor's team, the CEO, and to the budget advocates, our job as budget advocates is to carry what the neighborhood councils, the board members, and stakeholders want. So, for example, Van Nuys Neighborhood Council, they're upset that the Van Nuys City Hall video conferencing got turned off a couple of years ago. So they've taken a vote, they've passed a motion that they're recommending that the $10,000 it costs to run that video conferencing at Van Nuys City Hall be put back into the budget. That's a specific recommendation that that neighborhood council made that can be carried forward as a recommendation to budget advocates through the process. Think about that as you're looking at it. Yep.
Thank you.
I think that is actually it. So I will be in touch. Okay. Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks, Glenn. Glenn was kind enough in order to volunteer to represent us. And based on some of his comments, are there any other volunteers? Since two volunteers. And this would require attending meetings and things like this and then carrying the message back. Come and see me afterwards if you have any questions on that, or talk to Glenn. But meanwhile, Glenn is serving the purpose. Thank you again. Thank you, Glenn. Okay, Tom Knockrock. Tom?
I guarantee you, this will be the shortest presentation. I'm Tom Knockrock, I live in Chatsworth. I'm also a member of the San Susanna Field Labs Community Advisory Group. And I just wanted to give you a bit of an update as to what's happening with the advisory group and give you a date of the meeting which may be of interest to you. This community advisory group for the Santa Susana Field Lab, or the Rocket Dime Cleanup, has been in existence now for a year, and it's finally come together, formed itself, and has been making a lot of progress in entering into the dialogue that's going on about how the field lab should be cleaned up. One thing that I want you to be aware of is that there is a brochure that they have put together that's available that does a good job in an easy-to-read format that gives a good summary of what the options are and where the advisory group stands and what it's asking and advising the Department of Toxic Substances Control to adhere to. Basically, the position of the community advisory group is to perform a cleanup to ensure public health and safety and to minimize the opportunity for spreading further contamination around. So we're looking at a sensible, common sense, scientifically sensible cleanup that does not require removal of excess materials from the site, just in order to satisfy some preconceived arbitrary dictates. Secondly, the the Woodland Hills Warner Center Neighborhood Council is joining with the Canota Park Neighborhood Council to put on a meeting coming up in a couple of weeks, which is called Santa Susana Field Lab Cleanup 101. It's basically going to be a non-technical presentation and question and answer session that does not go into picocuries and micrograms, etc., but is an overview for the person on the street as to what's going on up there. That's Monday, October 20th, 6:30 p.m., Canova Park High School Auditorium, Monday the 20th.
Can you email that to me?
Sure. Also, the CAG, the Community Advisory Group, meets as well once a month in most cases, and they will be having a meeting in West Hills on the 22nd, 2 days later, after the Canova Park meeting. And that's a good source of information as well if you're concerned on this issue. I have brochures here. Let me know if anyone wants one on my way back. I will drop one on.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Daniel?
Yes, sir.
You call me Daniel. Not you.
Not you.
Okay.
And I couldn't read the last name, sir, so.
Garcia.
Garcia. Well, that's easy. Thank you.
Sorry, sir.
Go right ahead.
I know you can go over there.
Wherever you like.
I can go here. Hi, I'm Garcia, and I am an advocate for the body. I have been advocating for people who have been a lot of time, and let me give you some of my credentials here. My credentials are I'm going to be passing around this for everybody here, so you give me my resume and everything here. If you don't understand me, please email me, and you'll be happy to answer all your emails before this question. But to some of the credentials that I have is that I am a member of the mental advisory accessibility advisory committee, which deal with ADA, and also interpretation. Every single ADA issue has to come within that committee. I have also I'm a member of the LA County voting accessibility, which deals with how you vote. So people with disability, it's very important that everybody to allow to vote. So I am a member of that. As soon as I allow to vote, and we look at the best way to make possible that everybody gets to vote. Not just people that meet by everybody to vote. I'm also a member of the regional center, which is for people with disability, people like myself, but it represents us statewide. So I'm a statewide also representative here. So that's my credentials so far. I have some of my other credentials I have here. The reason there are two reasons that I'm here for the second time actually. I have been here before that, about 7 years ago, and nobody remember me because, man, it has been 7 years, so.
I remember you, I was the president of the board.
Good, thank you, thank you. So anyway, so I have been, my number one issue here that I'm running for city council, and I just want to have a chance to be part of the political process. I want to be a chance to be a part of the political process because I'm tired of being put down by other people who don't think that people with disability do not have a chance to run for office. And I want you to actually have a leverage on the decision-making power. And I believe I'm not the one who wants to win. Or you see, I think people with disability will win anyway. Because we have been a lot of we have been segregated. We have been many traditional minority people. Traditional minority people are African American, Jewish, women. You have traditional methods that we have here. I'm the one who actually want to have a chance to go for it. And that's why I'm asking here. To have you as a dialogue, to open up with you. So therefore that's my number one issue here. My number second thing I want to get across my point is I have an issue on the corner that's very dangerous for my wife, who traveled the worst than me, with the kid. Yeah, and this corner of actually is the corner of independence and laughing. There is such a tremendous deep dangerous part that is completely inaccessible for us. If it goes fast, I will fall. So I want to see kind of
Mr. Garcia, what independence and lights? And what's there, is it the sidewalk?
You know what? West side corner.
The northwest side corner, and it's the sidewalk, is it?
The sidewalk.
The sidewalk.
And I'm tired of being.
Lucy, maybe we can have Lucy. Can you maybe carry that message? And
She's the head of our public safety.
Okay, what we can do, and I'm gonna, you're past the 5 minutes, but
That's fine.
But there's a selection process, discussion that's gonna be taking place tonight, so certainly if you know, wanna run for the neighborhood council, it'll happen next year. But Lucy is she'll carry the message, and then you have a kind of a priority. And every so often, the councilman's office, somebody within the Los Angeles City, they'll ask us for a priority. And I'll personally check it out, okay, sir? And I'll take a look at it, the northwest corner, you said, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Did we address some of your concerns?
yes, you addressed it.
Okay.
And thank you, but I want Henry wants to know more about me and fact about you. And
Now, you're not running for any political office, right?
no, yeah, I am.
Okay, all right, just here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
He said city council.
City council.
City, oh, he is running for
City council.
Oh, okay, good. All right, thank you. Next is,
Dorothy Cunningham.
what's that?
I'm sorry.
You know, what I was talking about is that, you know, if you keep a list of priorities, that when it's asked,
Yeah, I will.
it'll help, okay. William Koosman, and, Mr. Koosman is, are you representing Mel Wilson and Associate Realtor, sir, or?
Does it say somewhere on there that I'm with Mel Wilson and Associates?
Well, that's why I'm asking you, to get
Well, my
clarification.
speaker card says I'm here on behalf of the Stakeholders Empowerment Enlightenment Coalition.
Thank you for the clarification.
You're very welcome, sir. Hello, everyone. My name is William Koosman. I'm a public stakeholder who got involved with the neighborhood council system by accident about a year and 8 months ago. One of the things that I've come across is a lot of issues where my neighborhood council is not communicating to the members of the public, including myself. Evidently, the problem is been around for a while, but I'm here tonight to let you know about the Stakeholders Empowerment Enlightenment Coalition. We formed initially on September 8th. We had our first meeting on September 16th. I have announcements here for our next meeting, which is going to be on Monday, October 22nd. That will be at the community room at the North Hills Library in North Hills at 16244 Nordoff Street. Our keynote speaker that night will be Jay Handel. For those of you who are not neighborhood council board members involved with the system, but are stakeholders like me, Mr. Handel is also a neighborhood council board member and very well known within the neighborhood council system. His topic for his keynote speaking is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, viewing neighborhood councils from outside and within. The complete meeting program will be posted on the website, which is seec-reform.com, and that complete program for the meeting will be posted by October 12th. I just wanted to let you know a little bit, since I have a little extra time here because of the 5 minutes. The Stakeholder Empowerment Enlightenment Coalition is a grassroots organization that formed in response to stakeholders who want the neighborhood council system reforms that will result in compliance with the goals and procedures set forth in the Los Angeles City Plan for Neighborhood Councils. Our mission is to empower stakeholders with the tools to enlighten and effect positive reform of the neighborhood council system, which was created by Charter Amendment of the City of Los Angeles. To enlighten City Council as to the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment's failure to provide sufficient support and assistance and oversight to the individual neighborhood councils, in compliance again with the goals and purposes as stated in the Neighborhood Council Plan Ordinance. Our vision: a City of Los Angeles neighborhood council system in which every stakeholder is encouraged and empowered to participate in the conduct of business of the neighborhood council, and to demand that their board of directors represent the stakeholders in all community matters. In addition, we envision that all neighborhood council boards operate in full compliance with all applicable laws. The Brown Act, the California Public Records Act, neighborhood council bylaws, codes of civility, and Department of Neighborhood Empowerment resolutions, rules, regulations, and best practices guidelines with honesty, openness, and transparency. And if it's all right with you, I'll leave some flyers here on the table and pass a couple along to the board. There will be email announcements going out to all boards within the next week, so you'll all get something in the email as well.
Can I ask a question on how he got my email address and why it was given to him?
Mr. Kuzma, where did you, that's a good question.
That's a great question.
This is information, not public information. as a board.
No,
No, not the personal email.
Well, all emails that I sent any announcements to, or any requests for compliance, if you were referring to some of those, are garnered from either the Dunn site, where the email addresses are available, or from your neighborhood council website.
mine will be closed tomorrow morning. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Mr. Kuzma is also taping or videotaping the meeting for his own purposes, or for the purposes of the group that he represents. So, just wanted everybody to be aware of that. Okay, Mary?
In which neighborhood council does Mr. Kuzman reside?
Sir? There was a question about where you reside, which neighborhood council?
I'll be more than happy to answer that question. I live in Granada Hills.
Thank you. All right. And we move on to Lydia. Lydia is a member of Bank, and Lydia can, okay, Palm, Bank, and I'm confused. Okay. Lydia, if you could give us a couple of minutes, would that be fine?
Sure, that would be fine.
I want to acknowledge your presence.
Thank you so much. So first of all, I want to thank all of you who participated in the Valley Disaster Preparedness event. I did go around to the different neighborhood council booths. I was there most of the time, and wanted to thank your neighborhood council for participating. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lydia Grant. I am the commissioner who oversees the neighborhood councils in the North Valley. I'm one of 7 commissioners appointed by Mayor Garcetti who work with the neighborhood councils directly. We do oversee the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. However, we are not allowed to put our hands in the daily running of the department. What we do though is we create the policies that the neighborhood councils follow when it comes to certain guidelines. So when it comes to funding issues and things like that, those are all directly the department. We don't have any say in those. Some of the things that we are working on, or we have worked on recently, one of those that we're working on right now is the community impact statements. That allow us to be the voice of our neighborhoods to the city council. We have asked that it be changed to the way that the California League of Cities does it, which allows for when we put in those community impact statements, that we're not for or against an item, we're for it if, we're against it unless this is added. It gives flexibility to the way that it's worded, which allows better communication with council members so that they know that if they change this, 8 more councils would move over to the support pile. So it makes it so it cuts time in half of having to go back and forth dealing with issues. So that is something we're working on right now. It has gone through Councilmember Parks, and it is now resting with the city clerk's office. There has some things that they have to do. We have already approved it as a commission. One of the other ones I wanted to bring up tonight is the policy that you originally heard about that Councilwoman Nuri Martinez wanted to do, which was the sexual harassment, bullying, and behavior mandatory trainings and policy that the city council was going to put together. We felt as a commission that we wanted to address the issue first. We didn't want the city council stepping up and saying, this is how it's gonna be, it's very punitive, all of you have to do training. We felt that we could make a better plan, one that the neighborhood councils could agree with better, that was not as punitive. So we have stepped up to do that. We will be working on a multi-level package, but we've done the first part. And instead of having mandatory training for all the board members, we'll be starting out with a code of conduct, which basically most neighborhood councils already have, thank you, Glenn. And, the code of conduct is basically standard, like you might find in a business. This is the way you need to behave towards the public, you can't discriminate, things like that. So basically, all the board members will have to sign that, and once that is signed, then there's no further action. If you don't break any of the rules or part of the policy, then you're done, you don't have to do anything else. If you're somebody who is bullying people and there's some issues, then when we start working on the next level, that would be something such as, working on getting a mediator to come in and help negotiate and work on the issue. So we will be working on the further steps, but the city attorneys did tell us that we needed to do it in a step process. So some neighborhood councils are now seeing it, but wait a minute, it doesn't tell us what to do if there's a problem, because we're not there yet. We just wanted everybody to know how your behavior should be towards your community, and basically how you wanna be treated back by each other. So that's all of it. So I just wanna thank you again for the hard work that you guys do. I do go to your events. I think you guys do a great job. I love that you guys have a lot of turnout, and I know I saw a question over there, yes.
Judy gave me a copy of the code of conduct, and I told her, I said, I had seen it, she told me, well, read the GM empowerment thing, and I never could find it on it. So, because I didn't have one, because I thought I'd send it to everybody, but I didn't have anything electronic, because you had it back to back, or whatever it was.
Okay, so I do have one copy right here.
Is that one that you want everybody to sign?
It's not, the point is that communication is
But I
the key.
couldn't find it on there. Judy, when I say, well, I never heard of that, she goes, go to the GM
Things-
thing. I did, I can't find it.
Things
I can
come,
find it.
things come from your group that sometimes gets disseminated, and sometimes it's handed to me like an hour before the meeting. And you go, wait a minute, this is crazy. And so I asked, in fact, I dropped Megan a cover copy of that. I asked that any changes or any. A copy, okay, asking that at least give us a couple of months to implement any changes. You know, there's nothing that's so earth shattering that all of a sudden, because you also have a habit of changing the wording, changing the timing, changing whatever else, and then something else comes through. So once you say that, hey, this is it, give us a couple of months to pass through the information, but give it to us, not just, like I said, a few hours before.
So let me please respond to that. First of all, this is a policy that goes into effect in January. So I am here to give you the heads up and the notice.
But the date on this is September 15th.
That was the date that we signed it.
Well, that would be the implementation.
No, it said, it has the date.
No, I'm just saying, that's what that time.
That is the
shortly
date that
after.
we as the neighborhood councils vote on it. This is something that we have been repeatedly, and you know that I do come to your meetings, and I do update you guys when I see you, that, I am here. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there's not another commissioner in the city who is going to their neighborhood council meetings and giving updates. And I guarantee you, all those people nodding their heads will tell you, I am doing the best I can to get here. I also do try to send out a newsletter periodically to let people know the things that I want them to be aware of and to make sure of and things like that. So I do my best to communicate. All of our stuff is posted on the Empower LA newsletter also, and we just,
Under what?
it's put under, usually the updates come through the general manager, but I wanted to tell you, what I'm adding to that is, this month, we started as a commission also sending out a monthly newsletter. So it will be giving the updates. I'm a new commissioner. I have just started, less than a year ago, and these are things that we've put together so that there is better communication. I can't speak for the way it's been done in the past, but all of you know and have seen me many, many times that I am here to communicate with you. I'm always there. I pass on my cards. Call me if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to help you.
Well, if you can't communicate Jeff's concern, and that's the reason purposely, if you remember, we didn't pass along a sheet with any information about home phone numbers or emails, personal emails, or any of the other kinds of things. Why? Because it gets out of hand, the next thing you know, either we end up getting message or emails from everywhere. What's the average number of emails that you figure?
About 50 a day.
50 a day? How does that happen? So if you can carry that message, there is an article, I was gonna hold back, but I took a copy of the Daily News that was within the last couple of weeks, that kind of hinted around at the concern about the differences between bonk and bank and some comments that I think you'll find interesting reading. That's the last comment I'll make on it, okay? Thank you, Lydia, and don't take it personal. It's just this communication process from done in general.
And I hear you
That's
clearly,
it.
and so I want you to know, and I'm gonna reiterate this. Anytime you guys are dealing with the issue with the department, or you are dealing with Jeff Brill, you are welcome to put me in that email loop, because I do follow up. I go to the department, I say, hey, I understand the Chatsworth, this hasn't been paid, I'm just following up to make sure it's been done. I do follow up with the
No, I
council,
know
so
you.
make
I know
sure
you.
that if there's a problem you're having, I will help you deal with it.
Thank you.
I wanna let you know one thing. This came from a stakeholder about a month ago. The department needs to do one thing. Every document you issue, or they issue, they need to date it,
Yes.
including the funding documents, because they're superseding to the, you have treasurer's manual that are still dated 2011. You cannot function like that. You don't know what you're looking at.
I do agree with you, and we have asked for that, and Glenn back there has been on that and reminding them to keep updating those, because I agree with you, that's very important, so that we make sure that what we are using is the most updated stuff. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lydia. Elena, with that, we're gonna change over to announcements, and I know you wanna announce something near and dear.
I'll do all of them. Okay, starting, the one that is the first one coming up, this Sunday, we will have finally a day at the Chatsworth Historical Society, and you are all invited, and come early so you can help.
Turn around.
Okay.
Okay. No.
Okay.
Talk to them.
Everybody's invited, come early so you can help, I'll be there early about 8:30, and we will be setting up, and on Saturday we'll do some setup, so please come. The event is actually from 11 to 3, and do take the shuttle from the depot, because the parking will be probably impossible to be at the Chatsworth. Historical Society is in the Chatsworth Park South. Even though Chatsworth Park South is closed, the Historical Society Homestead Acre is open and beautiful. I'll be in a museum. Okay, this air conditioned. Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
Yes, in a costume. Petrified. The next event we have is Danny, I'll step on it, pasta dinner on October 17th. We will, Solid is holding the pasta dinner at St. Nicholas Church. This is a fundraiser for Solid, and they do wonderful things for our police department, and the pasta dinner is always good. October 18th is the Chatsworth Friends of the Library book sale at the Chatsworth Library. You can buy a book for $1, you can buy water for that much. There is some other things going on. The next event I have is November 15th, it's Trails Day at the State Historic Park, but I'll let you know about that one again. That's all. I think I got them all.
Thank you, Elena. Any other announcements? Mary?
It's not an announcement, but I have a question. Diana Dixon Davis was our representative to the Santa Susana Field Lab CAG group. Should we not put it on our agenda for next month?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Isn't Tina on that also?
Who was that?
Tina?
Tina was the other one, but she,
But Tom is on it.
who,
Tom Knopfrom is on it, and he is a stakeholder member in the outreach committee. If you want, I'm sure he will be happy to. If Tom doesn't want to, then I'll do it.
Because we can agendize it for next month.
okay. All right, any other announcements? Judy?
For anybody who's interested in the supervisor's race, that is to replace Zeb Yaroslavsky, which is, I think only a sliver of Chatsworth may be involved, but if you're interested in that race, the only debate in the entire valley is Thursday of next week at CBS Studios. It is sponsored by VANC. For those of you who don't know, VANC is the Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils. Has nothing to do with Dunn, has nothing to do with Bonk, has nothing to do with the city of Los Angeles. It's a coalition of neighborhood councils. It's a free event, but you have to RSVP, and there's limited room, so anybody who is interested in it, please check with me and I'll give you a copy of the flyer. I have it electronically, but not a hard copy. But it's it's Thursday, October 9th at, I think there's a reception starting at 6 and the actual debate starts at 7 or 7:15.
Any other announcements?
Yeah, the two candidates are Sheila Huell, a child actress turned politician, and Bobby Shriver, as in the Kennedy and
What's her name, Zelda? Right? There's only a couple of us that are shaking heads. Don't be Gillis.
Yeah.
Okay, September, approval of the September 2014 minutes. The minutes are in draft form. I'm gonna suggest that we go ahead and vote on those next month. Okay? All right, Danny. And I would have said Danny.
Danny.
The other Danny. Danny Del Valle.
I don't want to jump up too soon.
It's yours.
Actually, Megan, go ahead.
Okay.
Because I like being at one of the best neighborhood councils around.
You're on tape.
1 mile.
For those who don't know me, I'm Senior Lead Officer Danny Del Valle with Los Angeles Police Department. I'm the Senior Lead Officer that covers Chatsworth and Porter Ranch. A couple things we will announce. Again, there's the flyers up here for the pasta dinner. It's over at St. Nicholas Creek Church on Plummer and Balboa. Again, that's at 5 p.m. to 7:30, $9 a person. Awesome food, all kinds of vendors, Chi-Chi's, Maria's, all kinds of Italian food.
Cookies.
Cookies, yeah, all kinds of cookies are gonna be there. As for that, like I say, they help us out quite a bit, solid supporters of law enforcement in Devonshire, and we're very grateful for the things that they do. We like to support them when we can. As far as crime that's going on in the area, I'll just basically read off what we spoke about in crime control this week with the captains and detectives. For the area, for Adam 23, we had 5 thefts, 3 burglaries, and 1 burglary theft from vehicle for the week. So we didn't have any aggravated assaults, no robberies, no rapes, no grand theft autos. For the area itself, we are down a -3% overall in Part 1 crime. Again, are still other areas that were up a bit, that we're trying to bring the numbers down, and they're coming down gradually. Aggravated assaults are still up, 75%, robbery 50%, and rape 66%. But those numbers, like I say, they have been declining, they're on the downside. Other issues of concern that I really want you folks to be aware about, the 22-200 block of Shadow Valley Circle. This past week, we had an incident where an individual was seen going around, checking the doorknobs, knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell, trying to look through the windows, and didn't see anything. And then he went ahead and took the light bulb off the porch. And then something kind of had him spooked, and he took off. The resident actually had a video camera, and that's how we know of this activity, saw it all going on. Might have heard the resident there and said, you know what, I'm out here. I'd like you folks to know about that type of activity again, because that's how the burglars work, okay? That went down as a theft report, but really, that guy's a burglar, okay? He's trying to check the easy access to get inside the house, checking, seeing if anybody's home, taking the light bulb because it's dark. Nobody likes to be seen, that's a criminal, because then they're like identifiable, okay? So please, if you see any type of activity like that, call it in, let us know about it, and don't feel that you're wasting our time at all, okay? We'll be professional about it, we'll, investigate, stop the individual that's in question, and if it's nothing, it's nothing. But at least we're able to go ahead and investigate suspicious activity. Again, we had another burglary on the 20500 block of Devonshire by the Carrolls over there. Some other individuals were seen, they actually went ahead, did the door knock, looked around. The one suspect was seen on a phone, looked like he was talking to another individual, and then later on kicked in the door, went inside, stole property, and fled. We had some other individuals that actually saw that activity, was recorded and such. Again, like I said, if you see this type of activity, please let us know. I never want any of you to actually try to apprehend a suspect, because that's our job. Never want any of you folks to get hurt, okay? That's what they pay us to do, to go ahead and try to capture those individuals. But call it in, be a good witness. If you're able to get a license plate, if you're able to videotape or take a picture of the suspect's vehicle or them from afar, like I said, please do so. But don't lay yourself out that, too much, that you're out there, going ahead and trying to get all this information, because sometimes they, like I say, distance away keeps you safe, and doing things in certain manners also keeps you safe with having other people present and a phone, your access to a phone. Okay, I will bring up, I went ahead and passed out, I've talked to some other members about our VBP, our Volunteer Bicycle Patrol Unit that we're trying to go ahead and get started at Devonshire Division. We have a VST, Volunteer Surveillance Team, that's already in place, helps us with going ahead and being our eyes and ears for the police. They often will call in, we have them in areas where criminal activity is going on. They will in turn know to communicate with us. We're able to send the officers in and swoop in and capture these individuals. Two separate things, but kind of like on similar terms, where we're trying to get people to volunteer for this program and be out there for us as visible patrol. And like I say, it's something that the captain's pushing. It's a good opportunity to, one, do things for your community, keep them safe, and also make a difference. It's like I say, it's kind of a cool unit that we're starting. No other division has it yet. We're in the process of getting the shirts made. I just wanted to bring an example shirt. This is the material. We're looking for a light color. On the front of the shirt, it's going to have a small logo, and then on the back, it's going to embroidered, and then on the back, it's going to have VVP. So people are aware that when they see them, they'll go, oh, that's part of the community here. It's a volunteer bike patrol. We want, like I say, we want them visibly known, present. We have the holidays coming up, so this is another tool we're trying to utilize, because like I say, we have the holidays, Christmas is coming around. That's when we have the issues with breaking into the vehicles, and also the daytime burglaries. We'll be able to dispatch these citizens out there and try to, like I say, give that visible patrol out there. And I wanted to show you folks that, because I met with the safety committee to throw that out there, came up with some numbers to on the cost of the shirts, and it's basically going to run $640. It's like $23 a shirt. We're looking for 50 shirts, so we're splitting that up with another neighborhood council, Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council also, and we're attending some of the other neighborhood councils, Granada, Hills there, also we're Glenn. We're going to be calling out as trying to help support this program, which is awesome, because like I say, this is something for this community and to benefit from. That's about all I have. Yes?
I was looking on my Chatsworth the other day, and they said something about something at the train depot last Wednesday, that it was closed, and there were police all around in the morning. Do you know anything about that?
I'll be honest with you, it's not coming to mind. Pardon?
Probably sheriffs.
The sheriffs, yeah, the
Oh,
sheriff's
sheriff's,
also
yeah.
run that,
Okay.
on that end.
Now, can that be purchased through Solid?
Yes,
Because
we're,
there would have to be a neighborhood purposes ban from Solid, through Solid.
Do you wanna hit something like that?
And that's the only way.
Well, that's what he's asking,
Yeah.
you know,
That's the only way.
you wanna spearhead that?
Oh.
No, that's what I'm saying, it has to start with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see Danny having to go in there.
No, I just wanted to know the channel, the Solid is involved.
yeah, well, Captain Pitcher, Captain Moreno, they're like chomping at the bit to get this going.
They're going for $600 total, or?
No, that's like, that's for the first 25 shirts.
Okay, so.
And then we wanna get 50 shirts, cause we're trying to get, like I say, the numbers out there for at
How
least.
many neighborhood councils?
Well, Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council said that they would commit, and then I think Glenn from the Northbridge East.
Yeah, I'll talk to Glenn. I'll get more information from Glenn.
Are we? Yes?
Well,
Okay, I know the camera's running, so I don't wanna go ahead.
There's 15 board members, I'm only one of them, so.
Yes.
But I will push it. I'll
Well, thank
push
you
it.
very much. No, I know, it's just like I say, I'm just kinda kidding on the side on that, but, very beneficial to the area.
They're gonna want 50 caliber weapons also, so you may want.
I got one of those too.
Mounted on a bicycle.
And the $1,000 box.
And now, one thing, can that go on motorcycles too, because
Hey, the more shirts we get, we'll get them out there.
Very-
Are you gonna have a logo or anything on the back?
Yeah, it'll be on the back. It'll be VVP, LAPD Devonshire.
Okay,
For the back. And on the front, it's gonna have a logo as such, and it's gonna be on the front and embroidered off the top.
So the shirt is
So
$22
similar to
plus the
this.
printing and everything, so you're gonna be knowing that.
Who supplies the bicycles?
That is gonna be something that the citizens are gonna have to provide us with, because then the cost wise, it's.
Jeff?
Do you have to submit to a background check?
Yes.
Of course.
You're in it? Okay.
I'm out.
We'll give you a letter.
We know your address, Jeff.
Very good question. Thank you. Yeah, we have to run everyone through. We have Officer Mark Blizzard, who runs our volunteer and reserve officers. He's doing all the background checks.
Thanks, Danny. Oh, Mike?
Blue Circle? Background check, Blue
Oh,
Circle?
well, he's.
You know what, let's, yeah. Mike?
Yeah, we'll go ahead, we'll have officers with them, but with some of them, we'll have radios and we train them to, yeah, how to communicate on radios.
Dan? Any other neighborhood council involved in the BBG?
Yes.
In this, in borderline, in Chatsworth?
Yes, Porter Ranch, Chatsworth, again, we're hitting some of the other neighborhood councils. Like I say, this is something new.
So it'll be new. How long has it been in the project?
Just a couple months, a few months that we've been planning this. And, yeah, now it's becoming more concrete that we're gonna be able to play this.
Okay,
All right, thank you very much for your time.
thank you, thank you. Megan, the representative from the councilman's office, councilperson.
Thank you, Andre. Hi there, everyone. My name is Megan Collier. I'm District Director for Councilmember Mitchell Englander's office with the City of Los Angeles. We've had quite a lot of legislation since the last time that I was here at the Neighborhood Council. I did want to share a few updates. firstly, and I know we talked a little bit about the minimum wage ordinance, or minimum wage proposal that the mayor put forth, or had a press conference about. The council member was actually one of 3 no votes initially with regards to the minimum wage for the hotel workers that was put forth and just passed through city council. It actually came back to vote today, and I think there were only 2 no votes, but he remained a no. So I just want to update the community with regards to that. The reason why he voted no is the council member feels that anytime we should have a discussion about minimum wage increases, it needs to be an equal and balanced discussion about what we can do to make the city of Los Angeles more business friendly and reducing business taxes in the city of Los Angeles. That we have to have a balanced discussion, and that just didn't occur in this situation. So I wanted to update the community on that. A couple other things happened today in city council with regards to the council members' push for safer streets and public rights of way in our community. One was a motion passed that the council member had put forth in 2011, so we are excited to see it move forward. But this was voted on unanimously and approved by council that asked the city attorney to draft an ordinance that would strengthen the requirements and regulations for contractors who cut into the streets in the city of Los Angeles. You've heard the council member talk about it, and I think there's something like 90 different utilities that have the ability to cut into our public right of way. It's very difficult to keep them accountable for the damage that they cause. So his motion that was introduced in 2011 would add some additional requirements that the vendors have to have, which is provide liability insurance. Sometimes it's surprising to the council member, but we strengthened. But they provided liability insurance, provided written affidavits designating an authorized representative to cut into the street. So sometimes you would just have the business name, but you wouldn't have an authorized contact. And this also increased the city's fees and penalties for not following the procedures that are put forth. So right now there is a penalty. It's very minimal in the council member's opinion. And so he asked that it be increased. For a lot of the businesses, they write off any penalties as the cost of doing business, and so this would lead to keeping them more accountable. So that was passed today in City Council, and then there was another motion that was passed, which asked the Public Works Department to investigate the feasibility of creating an RFID tag, which is kind of like an electronic barcode that would go into any work that was done by companies having the rights of way to cut into the city streets. So right now, and you'll hear the councilman talk about it, they put in like a little grommet or like a dog tag if they cut into the streets. Sometimes they do that, sometimes they don't. I think in one of the motions it said that there's something like 10,000 cuts a year into our city streets, and it's very cumbersome for the city to make sure that everyone's complying with the law. So this RFID tag would be something that we could scan and electronically make sure that it was in the asphalt and that it's up to date with city's databases. And so the councilman's all been about using technology to better and make more efficient city service. So these were 2 important steps in having that today. I also wanted to update the community on Chatsworth Park South. It's been a couple of months since I provided an update. As you guys know, and as I reported, I think in July, the City of Los Angeles and Department of Recreation and Parks released a bid to on-call contractors within the Department of Recreation and Parks. We received bids back in August, and we actually only received 1 bid back. The City of Los Angeles was reviewing the bid, and they met with the contractor to kind of come to an agreement, but ultimately the city decided to go ahead and reject that bid. So we're going to be rebidding the contract to a wider group, which would allow for more competition, and hopefully we would get better bids. This was a decision that the Department of Recreation and Parks decided to move forward, and it would add we're thinking about 2 months onto the timeline. So that's certainly, something we're not excited about, but ultimately receiving only 1 bid back was not something that the department wanted to move forward on. It didn't feel like it was fair to the taxpayers of the city of Los Angeles. And so we're gonna reopen the bid hopefully in the next month or so to a wider audience. And I think that's it, unless everyone knows all about the events, please go to them.
Regarding the street maintenance, cutting, I didn't hear anything about bringing those streets back to the way they were. And I'll bring that up in our neighborhood because Nick, myself, and Jeff You just got done refinishing our streets. And there's been cuts already, and they're nowhere near the standard that you brought the street up to.
Right, and I'm happy to investigate that. Right now, there's a 1-year moratorium on any cut into a newly paved street. The council member, as part of his motions, that were kind of combined with Save Our Streets Los Angeles, asked for an extension of that, and I think it was 3 years that they asked for. But if they cut in, do you know if it was within a year or not? It wasn't.
Been last
Did you talk to me about this? No.
pretty.
Yeah, if you
Oh,
know,
as far as
well, and
the
that's.
street repair?
Yeah.
It's the one on, it's the one right off of, what is it, Nashville, right?
Was it-
Well, that's.
That's on your street.
Yeah.
I don't wanna take up too
You
much time.
got any square
but
that live there?
Yeah.
And then the one down on Leonard.
do you know if it was emergency work, like a water?
Well, one
leak or-
is DWP, but
One
that's.
was DWP.
That's-
Don't get me
that's
started
a
on that
water
department right
leak.
now.
But
So
anyways.
there are some exemptions for emergency work, I will say, but please always, if you, and that's actually something that the council member put forward as well, is an ability, and a like hotline for you to call in work, because we can't be everywhere and we trust you guys to be our eyes and ears in the community. If you see something happening in a street and you're not sure about it, call us and we'll double check, and that's how we find the majority of the
Well, I'm
violations.
sure the work had to be done, I'm not arguing that.
No,
It's
and
just not
that's-
prepared to
It's
what.
challenging,
We just got done paying for it, exactly.
Let's follow up and just make sure that it was the right agencies, and yeah, it's incredibly frustrating. We had fought so hard for Rinaldi to get paved for a long time. They paved it, and like within a month, there was a DWP leak, and they, cut out a hole. So it's frustrating. I don't, yes.
Okay. Is there any going to be about history? Are they going to be doing also sidewalk?
I'm sorry. The sidewalks?
Yeah.
So as part of the Save Our Streets proposal that the council
Yeah,
member put forward.
because my idea is have money to make repair street.
Yes.
If you have money to repair sidewalk at the same time.
Yes.
At the same time, not at the same time, at the same time. That's what I mean.
Yes, so as part of the Save Our Streets proposal that the council member put forward, we did include sidewalks in the proposal. There's a difference in the way that sidewalks basically are not rated, as I'm sure you know, in the city of Los Angeles. We have a rating for streets and their integrity. We have something called a micropaver that grades all streets from an A to an F. And so the council member will agree with you that we are not maintaining our streets appropriately, and that's actually why he proposed Save Our Streets Los Angeles, because it was a plan to bring all the failed streets up to an A or B in the city of Los Angeles over, I think it was 10 years, 15 years, 10 or 15 years. So we included sidewalks as part of that proposal. It ultimately was not put forward by the city council, but the city of Los Angeles is going through a lawsuit right now, as I'm sure you know, with regards to our sidewalks. And there's 2 council members that have asked for report backs from different departments on the feasibility of implementing a plan for the sidewalks. So there's a couple reports back due to council any day now with regards to repairing our sidewalks. And I'm happy also to follow up with regards to Independence and Lassen that you pointed out earlier. Thank you.
We have a copy about this project on Corbin.
Yes.
So when it first went in, I was told by your office that after it was over, 6 months after, this developer would have to repair the street. Called about 5 times, talked with someone last week. No, it wasn't in the developer's contract. How do you let a developer come in, tear up Corbin, tear up, I think it's Plummer, tear up other streets because of AT&T over 3 streets, and yet this whole development, he doesn't have to repair the streets, it's okay. And yet you sit here and say, this is a big thing with streets, but we have major developers who tear up our streets,
we have a little developer who wants to take his house and do a split and build two houses. He's got to improve the street, bring in lighting, bring in a whole new street because it's dirt. But a huge developer can tear up the street, and that's okay. I don't get it.
I remember us talking about that. Who did you chat with in our office? Do you remember?
Who's your street person?
Colin?
Yeah.
You talked to Colin about it? Okay.
2 weeks
I don't know the specifics about that. I referred it over to Colin, but I can check in on that specific
That
case.
it was not in the developer's
Yeah,
agreement,
yeah.
so we didn't have to fix the street.
Mitch personally told several of us that he guaranteed that Corbin was gonna be fixed. It was right before you moved the office. And a bunch of us were joking that, yeah, you'll take care of it because your office is moving over there.
Well, see,
But
we
he-
take care of it. Okay. I will check in with you. Mr. Kuzmin.
Yes, Megan, I asked you this question before. I'm hoping you have some new information for me regarding Council File 11-1018, which is the Regional Grievance Panel ordinance that the City Council is supposed to get from the City Attorney. If you have any updates on that.
11-1058.
11,
Mr. Kuzma?
Council File 11-1018.
What is that we're talking about?
That is the regional grievance panel ordinance that the Neighborhood Empowerment has passed along to the City Council. The City Council asked for the City Attorney to bring to them a new regional grievance panel ordinance for the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment and the Neighborhood Council system. And that the initial writing of that was supposed to be submitted to the council on July 1st. And so now I'm just asking for an update on the status of where we're at with it.
Northridge East, you asked about that?
Yes.
Okay, and I think Glenn gave you a little bit of an update at that.
Yes, I know, but you also
And
said,
actually, we happen to have a commissioner here.
I just happen to have a commissioner and maybe she has the answer.
Lydia, I mean, do we have an update, a quick update, or do we
Yes,
not?
I can give a quick update. There's certain things that had to be, I guess, addressed on it, and so it went back a little bit. But the fact is, until the department hires somebody, has the money to hire somebody to oversee that process, the policy cannot be put into place. That's the bottom line. That's where it's going to
Okay.
sit. It doesn't matter where it's
That's
bouncing
good
out now.
enough, that's good enough for me. Thank you, Lydia.
All right.
Okay, did you get that, Mr. Guzman?
I got that, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Now, if you would, Karen, you asked a question and then you're responding to Glenn.
No, Glenn asked me a different question.
Okay, all right. You got your answer then?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
One more thing,
Okay.
I just wanted to, I had called up at your office about the bags of debris on Chapter Street,
Chatsworth and.
Chatsworth between Mason and DeSoto. Yeah, we did a street cleanup,
We'll make sure that's good.
and Saturday will be.
It was the 17th or something like that. Some of the bags now are broken and, there's some stuff spilling out.
I'll check in with that tomorrow. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to the new business. There's unfinished business, new business. But I just picked up that, it says approved August C&C expenditures, and we're actually, did everybody sign this, by the way? And this is the new form, the newly accepted form, okay, that has special information on it. So if you want anything, any correspondence and everything, sign this, and we'll give it to you. I noticed that also the directors, the board, actually have signed it, right? Okay. It is voluntary, and that's the big key, it's voluntary. So, anyway, we will move on, but I do notice that it says August C&C expenditures, and what you have a copy of is September's expenditures, since there, I'm assuming that there is none for, August, is that correct? Didn't we do August last?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and defer any of September, we'll correct that for next month. Also, if you would, and I'm talking about the form that's colored, the actual budget right here. is that it's actually the year 2014, 2015.
I fixed that already, then, okay, so this is just a draft, but,
No, it looks good, except in September. So, if you would, look at it, and then we'll vote on it next month. That'd be okay with everybody, any objections to that? The other thing is what I
oh,
think.
wait,